Here are 3 secrets to building your motivation, even if you're feeling overwhelmed with negativity, guaranteed. So in about 2017, I remember I was working as a high school counselor over here in Broward County, Florida. And it was by far one of the toughest jobs I ever had because I had so many responsibilities. But on top of that, I had so many people depending on me, from parents to students to teachers to admin staff to the superintendent, the district. Like, everybody's depending on the school counselors to execute on their jobs. And it was a lot for me at the time because it was my first kind of like big boy, let's say adult job, if you will. And there was a time where I was feeling so depressed that I didn't want to go to work, but yet I was still able to go. And here's the thing, I was able to go because I was motivated by having to pay my bills. Now, here's the thing, when you think of motivation, you think of yourself being motivated to do something because it brings you great joy, if you will. But that's one of the biggest traps that people fall into. People fall in the trap of feeling motivated to do something they don't want to do because they're trying to avoid a consequence. You know, when it comes to paying your bills, or let's say taking care of a loved one, even taking care of yourself, sometimes we're almost forced to do these things rather than us choosing to do these things on our own. So yes, I was able to go to work despite hating it, despite having so many responsibilities, and it's because I was motivated by the fact that I had to pay my bills. And right now, you that's listening, I don't want you to be in that trap that I was in. I don't want you to feel like, hey, like I have to do these things, right? I want you to feel like you get to choose what you want to do in your life because you're motivated by something else, not because you're being forced. And what I'm going to do in this podcast is I'm going to give you guys 3 secrets to help you to building your motivation so that way you can take more actions towards things that you want to do and not things that you have to do. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into point number 1. But also make sure that you follow this channel by hitting the subscribe button. So with that being said, let's jump into point number 1. So the first way to increase your motivation comes from a very simple secret source, and it's called purpose. Now, here's the thing, purpose, just like pain, pleasure, these are things that we can all pull from based on our previous experiences. So I'll give you a great example. For you right now, your purpose may be fueled by pain in terms of needing to remove someone's pain that they're going through. So for me, I'm motivated to help entrepreneurs and professionals like you to remove anxiety from your life so that way you can be the best entrepreneur or the best professional that you can be so that you can serve people that you love serving. That's how pain is almost crafted, almost baked into my purpose in helping you guys. Now, let's take pleasure. So you may be, let's say, a financial coach, and what you love doing is making sure that people find pleasure in being able to afford nice vacations or some of the luxuries or leisure activities that they love enjoying. That's how your purpose can be crafted and baked into a sense of pleasure. Because here's the thing, pleasure and pain are both our primary motivating factors, right? They both come from very primal, very old, I'm talking like caveman time, ways of thinking, if you will, where you're motivated to go and hunt down this water buffalo because you need to eat, but you're also motivated to run when you see people from another tribe chasing you. This is just how we are hardwired as human beings. Now, again, your purpose is something that you can find within you by first asking, what is it that you enjoy doing? What is it that you're passionate about? And for a lot of us, our passions come from previous stories, previous experiences that we've gone through. I'll give you a great example. Today, I was on a phone call with a new client who's also in the mental health field. And I asked them, what brought you into this field? And he simply said, growing up, life was tough. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of people that I saw, a lot of people that I love, they actually had their own mental health issues. And seeing that made me motivated to become what I am now, which is someone working in the mental health field. And this is how someone can take pain and they can turn it into their purpose. Right? It's almost as if they're trying to get rid of this pain for someone else because they know what it feels like. Now, again, for you, there may be a sense of pleasure that you've once gained when, let's say, you scored a touchdown if you love sports. Or let's say one day you helped someone and they gave you a compliment, or maybe they gave you money. What you got in that moment was something that was rewarding. And that rewarding feeling is one that you want to replicate over and over and over again. And the best way you can do that is by channeling it through some type of work that you love or even some type of hobby that you enjoy doing. So again, what I'm trying to say here is that your purpose can be baked into your pain or it can be baked into some type of pleasure. And you can take these 2 things and you can find what it is that you want to do in life. Now, how does this motivate you? Well, here's the thing, guys. What you want out of life is not just going to come to you. You got to go after it. And I know that's something that maybe you can hear on a motivational speech or something like that. And here's the thing. Am I trying to motivate you? Yes. But I'm not just giving you things that I've just heard someone else say. This is hardcore facts. When you find something that is of purpose, it's going to help you to push past any fear, any lack of boredom, anything that feels uncomfortable that's getting in your way. So if you find this, it almost serves as almost like this magic elixir that you can drink and become powerful, become motivated, become, let's say, unstoppable, if you will. But for a lot of people, they're still searching for that thing. They're still searching for that magical elixir. So what I'm telling you to do in this point is to find something that has either brought you great pain or something that has brought you great pleasure. Take that and you can ask yourself, how can I make sure that either myself or no one else experiences this again? That will help you to find out what your purpose is, and your purpose is the first step to find your motivation. Main point number 2 of where you can find motivation simply comes from finding energy. Now, there's so many different ways that you can find energy, that you can boost your energy. And I'm just gonna give you guys a couple. One of the first ways is to borrow energy from someone else who is already motivated. So me as a therapist, I'm motivated to help you with overcoming your anxiety and your depression because this is something that I love. This is something that I'm passionate about. And what you can do is you can work with me by clicking on the button below and following this channel. When you do that, you'll start to get more info, more content like this from someone who's already motivated to produce this content. When you take in my information and you apply it, you start to see these little changes in your life. It's something that I like to call the butterfly effect. As a matter of fact, you probably heard of it. So the butterfly effect is simple. Basically, it states that small changes over the course of time can create this large reaction that you wouldn't even recognize from where it originally started. An example of this is if a butterfly flaps its wings, it'll do something to the air, right? It'll send this current through the air that's powerful enough to kick up other currents and eventually cause a hurricane or a tornado somewhere thousands of miles away. Like, that's how this stuff works. So what I'm trying to say here is find someone, or either you can find a group of people that are already doing the thing that you're finding yourself struggling with. So this is where community comes in handy. So if you're someone that loves to work out, find a community of people that love to work out. This is why people join CrossFit gyms. This is why people start to cycle with other people. Or this is even why people join jogging clubs, if you will. Is because there's other people already doing this task, and it makes it easier for you to feel like, hey, there's a standard being set. Or, hey, this is something that we're doing, so I guess I'm gonna do it as well. So this is known as peer pressure. These are things that are simple levers that you can pull to help you to feel motivated. But here's the thing, you gotta go out, you gotta find these people, okay? And this is how you can increase your energy. Main point number 3, the final step, is simple. And I mean that intentionally. Small, simple steps is the key to building motivation, because these small, simple steps gives you proof that progress is being made. When you see that there's progress is being made within, whether it's your, let's say, body, your mindset, let's even say your finances, when you see this progress being made, you're gonna be motivated by curiosity to see what can happen next. When you're of this mindset, there's something that's open, right? There's this open loop that's created within your mind. And what we wanna do as human beings, we wanna close this open loop. This is why when someone says, hey, I have a secret to tell you, a lot of us are like, what? And then when a person doesn't tell us, we feel robbed. We feel like there's something that's not yet complete, if you will. It's the same thing with curiosity. It's the same thing you can do when you're making progress. I want you to see the habits and the things that you're trying to build as like a video game. I'll give you guys a great example. Right now, I'm working on a webinar. And when I look at the slide number, that webinar is already at 350 slides. That's a lot. And I did not do all of that in one day, 1 week, or 1 month. This has been something that I've been working on for several months. And you have to ask yourself, how am I able to stay motivated to do something even though I have not seen a return on it yet? And the reason why is because I'm having these small checkpoints, these small goals set in front of me. And for me to look back and see that I've created something that is 350 slides long, it creates something within my mind that I can do something that's hard. I can stay with something long enough to see it, let's just say, come to fruition, if you will. But if you're not tracking these steps, if you're not instituting the idea of small, simple steps, it makes it hard for you to actually almost like capitalize on the fact that you already are making progress. And the reason why is because you're blind to it. You're not paying attention to it. So what I would ask you to do is find this goal that you're working towards and break it down into a small, simple step and allow that to be the main focus. If there's 10 steps in this program, if there's 10 steps in this goal that you're trying to accomplish, I need you to let go of the 9 steps and focus on the first step. I think a great example is when me and my wife decided to buy a house. That whole process is a long process to get approved for a loan, close on the house, and all that stuff. But for us, step number 1 was simply seeing how much we can get approval for. That was the first step. We didn't worry about the house. We didn't worry about getting movers. We didn't worry about even taking care of our previous lease. None of that stuff mattered. We just simply focused on the very next thing. And that's what I want you guys to do. So to go over these 3 steps, and they're real simple. So go over these 3 steps to summarize the 3 ways to help you to build motivation. The first one that I mentioned was that you simply need to find your purpose. And your purpose is something that's baked into your passion, or rather your pain or your pleasure. Those 3 things, when you combine them, it helps you to find out what your purpose is. The second thing is energy. So what you need to do is borrow energy from someone else since you're lacking it. And you can do this by finding a coach or finding a group of people, so a community that's already participating in this action. And then the third and final way is that you simply need to focus on small, simple steps. And I'll even tell you, celebrate yourself. As you're accomplishing these small, simple steps, you need to celebrate yourself, okay? So these are the small, simple things that you need to do. These are the 3 secrets that's gonna help you to build your motivation fast. So my name is Coach Wells. Thank you for checking out this podcast, and I'll see you later.